the story of a man who lived correctly. He was not an unhappy man, and that was exactly why it took him so long to understand what was wrong. He had a job, stable, understandable. He had a family. He had a life people usually describe with the words, "Everything is fine." Mikhail got used to that phrase. He lived in a way that kept everything fine, without extremes, without risks, without unnecessary questions. Early on, he learned that desires were optional, but responsibility was a real value. He always endured, not because he was weak, but because he believed it was the right thing to do. 1. He grew up in a family where no one asked what you wanted. They asked what you had to do. Mikhail was a convenient child. He didn't argue. He didn't demand. He didn't get in the way. When he liked something, drawing, music, long walks alone, he quickly learned to put it aside. Later, he told himself, when there is time. 2. Adult life began early and immediately became serious. A reliable university, a necessary job, a calm wife. He never fell in love so deeply that he lost balance. He chose rationally, the way people choose furniture, to last long and without surprises. When friends said he was not living for himself, Mikhail only smiled. Who else do people live for? 3. The years passed evenly. Too evenly to be noticed. Work required patience. He endured. People were difficult. He stayed silent. Life was not joyful. He didn't complain. He was respected. People relied on him. He was held up as an example, and gradually, he stopped being a person. He became a function. 4. Sometimes late in the evening, Mikhail took out an old notebook. He didn't write plans or goals there. He wrote what he never said out loud. Wanted to leave alone. Wanted to start over. Wanted to live differently. Wanted not to be needed. He closed the notebook and carefully put it away. Like something unnecessary. Like a weakness. 5. His wife died unexpectedly. Not tragically. Just quickly. Mikhail endured it calmly. The same way he endured everything else, without hysteria, without drama. The children grew up, moved away, called less often. And one day Mikhail realized something strange. He owed nothing to anyone anymore. That realization did not bring relief. It brought confusion. 6. Retirement made the days long. Too long. He no longer rushed anywhere. And for the first time, he noticed how much silence surrounded him. He tried to change something. Signed up for classes. Bought paints. Started writing. But he did everything carefully, as if apologizing. As if afraid to disturb the life that had already tolerated him for so long. 7. One evening, he sat at the table, turned off the television, and opened the notebook. He read everything, and he understood one simple thing. His whole life, he had endured where he could have chosen. Not out of sacrifice, out of habit. He never asked himself what he wanted. He asked what would be more correct. 8. That evening, he asked himself an honest question. If I didn't have to prove anything to anyone, how would I live? The answer didn't come, and that was more frightening than any regret, because he realized he had lived for others for so long that he had forgotten how to live for himself. 9. He didn't change everything. He didn't rebel. He didn't leave. He simply began to notice the truth. That many people stayed near him not because they loved him, but because he was convenient. That patience does not always make a person stronger. Sometimes it simply erases boundaries. 10. Conclusion. Mikhail was not an unhappy man, and that is the most important thing. He was correct, reliable, respected. He just kept postponing himself. And you cannot postpone yourself forever. He did not regret. He understood. And understanding comes, not at the beginning of life, and not in the middle, but at the moment, when there is nothing left to change. Final thought. Sometimes a person does not lose their life. They simply live it in a way that leaves almost no room for themselves.